Is it really affecting Latino kids up in the... Tell us about how it's doing that, if you can.
Well, the failure rate, even at the University of California, we have, what, 2.5 eligible students that qualify to go into the university or go to the university out of 100. You know, I used to have a grocery store, and we used to have a box of apples, 100 apples, and by 2 o'clock we'd sell them all. But here, under the bilingual, you know, if we're only selling 3 apples, we're not going to stay in business, are we? So this is the bilingual education can still have such a tremendous failure and still make money. This is the only program that I know in the United States, this country, where you can have such a tremendous failure and still make money at it. We're, you know, it's costing the taxpayers $4.2 billion.
How about ludicrous. That? Bilingual education is only 0.4% of the total budget of public education in the state of California, period. That's statistics.
Mike, it's here right out of the California Education Funding Alert. It comes right, the information comes right out of Sacramento.
Let me recap a little on what Ron stated earlier about the Los Angeles School District. First of all, I think that if you pull the statistics, if you look at the specifics of how LA Unified operates and the different kinds of programs that serve the needs of different types of learners, you're glossing over the main issue. Bilingual education has never been about eliminating English. It's always been about maintaining 2 languages and using it as a tool to transition children into English environments, English mainstream classrooms. If we initiate something like the UNS Amendment, we go back to what was there before in 1965, when it was total submersion. And many teachers do not know how to utilize sheltered English, and you're only giving them a year and constraining them to be able to meet the needs, the learning, the diverse needs of children in a very short time. Bilingual education means many, many different things. There's different types of programs, and the statistics and the budgets that you're citing only deal with particular types of programs. If you look at the way the statistical analysis is done in LA Unified, you see that they're pulled with other schools all over. LA Unified is a huge, humongous district. There's never been an adequate implementation of programs, not because there wasn't a commitment on the part of bilingual educators, but because the resources were not allocated at the district level to be able to provide the quality education that bilingual education was meant to provide, starting with the university and all the way through. And there's been research to counter Fernando's comment. There's been research that's been done on how bilinguals are the ones that are most successful going from elementary to high school and to the university. Cognitively, these people have more capacity for developing academic skills.
We're back to debate Proposition 227 here on Comunidad del Valle. First, next let's go to Assemblyman Mike Honda. 2 questions here. One, are there problems with bilingual education?
Well, let me get back to Ron's comment about bilingual education, that you can't have bilingual education for all the kids, the 120 languages we have in the state of California. That's not the point. That's the problem. People don't understand what bilingual education really means. You take the principles of bilingual education, you apply it to youngsters, whether it's individuals or small groups or a whole school. It's the application, utilization of primary language as an instructional tool so that youngsters can understand what's being taught them. That's what bilingual education is all about. And you talk about English, that all these kids are failing. Let me tell you, here's some statistics for you to chew on.
Okay.
This is unfortunate, but today, in grades 9 through 12, Latino children, Latino students at the secondary schools are failing at 5.6%.
How much?
Twice as many as white students. But the black students, the African-American students, are failing at 6.6% grades 9 through 12. And they're all being taught in English. So it's really not the issue about bilingual education or anything else like that. There's something wrong in the educational system.
But
they're all being taught in English.
Mike,
so if bilingual
education is so important to the economy, global economy. I ask you, how many English-speaking students are in bilingual education? You know,
At River Glen,
River Glen?
We have a
40
total.
students
we
in
have,
here.
No, there are many other
No,
programs.
River Glen's a double immersion.
and it's
Double
being done
elementary
right.
school.
And in Cupertino, they're looking at
what
another one.
percentage is that?
That's right.
What
Not
percentage?
enough. Not
Yeah,
enough.
not enough.
But if you say that globally that we want people to have at least 2 languages to be competitive in the world, why eliminate the language at the younger age?
The parents want their children to learn English.
Here's the problem.
They are
No one is
learning
saying
English.
that you shouldn't learn English.
Okay.
No one is saying that through the
At my
bilingual
house,
program
I have this
they
sign
shouldn't
sticking
learn
out the
English.
window, and the day doesn't go by that people drop by and say, "Señor, I want my child in your school. We want them to learn English."
Okay,
Every parent
we're
wants
going to
their
have to take
child to
another
learn
break.
English.
We're going to have to take another break, and then we'll be right back to kind of sum up our debate here on Comunidad del Valle, Proposition 227. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Comunidad del Valle. Now, a two-part question to the anti-227 side. Are there problems with bilingual education to this point? And if so, why hasn't anything been done to correct it in the last 25, 30 years?
Well, it's not an issue of what hasn't been done. It's an issue of looking at the status of the programs to begin with. From a pedagogical and from a social standpoint, bilingual education and the use of other languages for teaching and learning has always been seen as a remediality, not an enrichment. And you'll see the programs that have been successful are the ones that focus on enrichment, on connecting with the world and the cognitive flexibility of becoming bilingual and appreciating other cultures and languages. The second point is that part of the major reason why bilingual programs have not worked as effectively as they should have been is because of the resource allocation. Initially, there were not enough bilingual teachers to staff the classrooms that needed bilingual instruction. There was not enough preparation programs in order to prepare teachers to deal with the kinds of pedagogies that they had to design to meet the needs of the bilingual learners or to help them transition from their native language to the second language. We have made a lot of headway with the CLAD, the Cross-Cultural Language and Academic Development Program, because it's not only bilingual teachers that are prepared to deal with linguistic diversity, it's all teachers in the state of California that are looking at the appreciation of language and culture and looking at ways of instructing that are from a point of view of empowering children and learning to look at the transition from a cultural linguistic perspective rather than from a remediality. And that has only been in effect for the last few years. So it's not just bilingual teachers that are involved in teaching linguistic or linguistically diverse learners. It's all teachers. All teachers in the state of California have to have those skills in order to do an adequate job of teaching.
Okay, Mr.